always like the lamest part is just waiting.
Yeah. It is what it is.
At least we have each other.
Friendship. Hey everybody, it's Holly from Cape Cod Creatures, and I have with me Wayward Sun. From what I remember, can interview, she prefers either Wayward or Sunny. Hasn't decided to use her real name yet, so we will respect that and call her Wayward today.
Hello.
Yep, so we are just going to be chit-chatting. So if anybody has any questions for her, that would be amazing. And let me see what is going on here. Oh, Colleen is on. Hi, Colleen. Hi, Creative Coffee. So Wayward, do you know how to see the chat window or no?
I'm going to try, yeah.
Okay, so what you would do is you would click on the video as if you were watching it yourself, like if you were just clicking onto a live stream, but then you want to mute that window. Otherwise we get this horrible like talking to ourselves feedback loop.
Right.
So hi, Creative Coffee, how are you? We're going to be talking about some spooky stuff today, which I'm really excited about because I love spooky stuff. And we're going to be doing like maybe we'll do a little bit of reading roulette, some back and forth readings. It's whatever Wayward wants to do today. Hi, Tarot Alchemist, how are you, Lisa? It's so exciting to see you. Wayward is on the channel today, kicking it up on in the middle of a Sunday, which is new and exciting for me. We'll see how this goes.
It's a holiday. Happy holidays, everyone.
What holiday is it?
It is Game of Thrones Day.
No spoilers.
Okay, I'll try really hard. So excited. I can't wait.
I'm trying to get this thing to do that thing where it goes back and forth to everybody. Maybe if I here. Anyway, sorry. Awesome, Lisa. It's awesome to catch you. So I understand if you can't stay very long, but hi, Ivan. How are you? All right, anybody else jumping on? It looks like we've got a few people jumping in, so that's exciting. Can you see the chat window now?
I can't yet. I had difficulty with this the other day. It was so, oh my gosh, I think I deleted like 2 videos where that's all I did for half an hour was trying to get it to work. It was so embarrassing.
Aw, I can teach you how at some point if you want me to. But I can, if people have questions, I can like jump them in for us.
Nice.
Let's see. Ivan is doing good. Creative Coffee says hi. Colleen says she's excited and she doesn't know your channel yet, which shame on you, Colleen. Wayward's channel is awesome.
Oh, I can see it.
And then hi, Charlotte. Oh, you can see it? Yay!
I can. Oh, Creative Coffee is here today. So Creative Coffee joined me the other day. We had a lot of fun. We had coffee. I think that's going to be my Friday morning thing.
Excellent.
Yeah, it's just going to be like coffee time and card slinging on Friday mornings. And probably I'll try and figure out where I'm going to be in the next week. Because if I'm in the area where somebody lives, I want to try and catch them if I can.
Awesome. That sounds great. So what are we doing? I'm trying to figure out how to get our, like, because there's a way to get everybody's video presented to everyone without me having to switch back and forth 1,000 times, but we're not going to figure that out today. So anyway, I'm just going to put the thing on you and then we can go back and forth if that's the case.
Oh, man, I don't
oh
want
my God, what is going on? There we go. Okay. All right, cool. I think I figured out the setting. Okay, so anyway, Wayward, we're gonna let you kick this off. You said you wanted to talk about some spooky stuff. I'm excited to hear about spooky stuff, so let's hear about some spooky stuff.
Sure. I was just trying to see, I thought it might be fun to have just kind of an open discussion about using tarot as a medium and what people think about doing that kind of a thing, or if they've had any really good success stories or any tips or tricks, and I can share just a little bit of what I do. And yeah, I've just barely started with this, and I think I talked a little bit the other day about how evident it is that there are spirits available to talk with, if that makes any sense, and how you can sometimes have that feeling. I don't know. How about you, Holly? Have you ever had that feeling that there's someone or something specific around that wants to get a message through to you?
Not particularly, no. Unfortunately, I am not gifted as such. Let's just put it that way. I would love if that would be the case. My two most sought after clairs are clairaudience and clairvoyance. I would love both of those. Every once in a while I get that feeling like I'm being watched, but I don't know if that's one too many slasher flicks or if it's usually when I'm all alone at the shop or something, and then I'll hear. My building is very old. At the store, it's the first part. My shop was built in 3 parts. So the first part was built in the 1920s. It's been renovated since then, but it used to be a really old department store. And then somebody added on a second section in the 40s, and then somebody added on another section in the 50s. So my store is 1,000 miles long and very narrow. But
I love
clairsentient. That would be cool. Clairsentient. I do have an awful lot of opinions about everybody else's life but mine, Lisa. Lisa said I was clairsentient.
Lisa would know. Lisa's a smart cookie. I love her.
She is a very smart cookie. I actually really admire her a lot, but I didn't say that. So
we love you, Lisa.
I know, she's the best. But yeah, no, every once in a while I get I'll hear something, or I'll get the feeling there's eyes on me, because you're all alone in a spooky old building, but I don't know if that's because the building's 1,000 and it's falling apart, or if it's me. But otherwise, no. I can go and have a picnic in a cemetery, and I've had Ouija boards and stuff growing up. I've never had anything creepy happening. So
really, that's really funny. Boy, do we want to talk hospital stories? I've got some good hospital stories. Okay, so
I like hospital stories.
I do too. I haven't worked in a hospital for probably about 5 or 6 years. I think it's been about 6 years, maybe going on 7 anyway. But the funny thing is when you think about the creepy areas, like the morgue and stuff like that, those never bothered me at all. For some reason.
Really?
I think there's something to think about. Maybe we can have a discussion about this too. I don't know. I saw something really funny on Instagram the other day where it showed a picture of a person and it said, all we are is skin sacks full of water and farts.
It's true.
I don't know if anybody else saw that picture, but it was really funny, and I can't remember who posted it, but it is true. It's so funny. It's bodies don't bother me at all usually, and usually in a place like a morgue where you would expect that there would be creepy things going on and stuff, it never really happens, because I don't know, personally, at that point in time, usually there's been enough disconnect between the body and the spirit that the spirit understands what's going on, and they don't want to be hanging out there in the creepy morgue place. Does that make sense? It's really weird. Yeah. Really, really strange. But I think that one of the creepiest places in the hospital is definitely the emergency room. Because there's a whole lot of people that come in really bad traumas or in really bad shape, or maybe they're not ready to die or let go or something. And so there's this really, really huge amount of like spirit confusion going on, if that makes any sense. I just always got this really creepy feeling of energy being present that is just saying like, what the fuck? Sorry.
Yeah.
Honestly, that's the feeling that I got a lot of times. Just being in that kind of environment, is that there was a lot of energy that was really confused, that was really sad, that was really angry. And I feel myself personally, I don't know, Tarot Alchemist listed off a whole bunch of stuff just a little while ago: clairsentient, claircognizant, clairvoyant. And I know that there's differences in between those three things. Now, I don't hear voices and I don't see spirits, but I feel I'm an empathic medium. I do believe. I think that's the name. I didn't know what the name was for it until I started to study a little bit, look around and try to figure things out. But I could definitely feel that presence. And I didn't know what to do with it a whole lot until I started to practice Reiki.
Okay.
And then when I got attuned to Reiki, I learned a whole bunch about things and outside energies and things like that you have to learn how to zip yourself up, if that makes sense.
Yeah, you have to close yourself off to that kind of energy.
Yeah, you do. You have to know when to put up like almost an imaginary, I used to call it my bubble. I still call it a bubble, so that all of that outside can't get in and bother you so much. So I don't know.
I like that imagery as a bubble. I'm hoping to practice Reiki at some point, and I don't know. I think I'm going to use that, if that's okay. I'm going to steal that little, like the personal bubble. I've always said, like, you say that when you're in high school, like, get out of my bubble. But
no, it's absolutely true. It's absolutely true. And once you get attuned and start to use that and practice making your own bubble and everything, you can absolutely feel when somebody's either intruding, or if you want to open your bubble to see what's outside of it. It's kind of amazing. Sometimes it's really cool. So
cool. That'll be awesome. And then Tarot Pros says he agrees with you. Ivan agrees with you. Says when he was in the hospital for 3 months, he would do lots of readings for himself, and the reads would never be about Ivan, but they would be about the things or other things around him. So yeah, there's a lot of energy in hospitals, and not all of it's good. You're right.
Absolutely. And it's just if you believe in like memory, like repeated memories that happen over and over, and that those kind of form like I don't know what you call it. And I think you can see it like on TV sometimes, about how an energy pattern will create, say for instance, if you have a person that's very nervous and anxious, and all their life they're in their house, and all they do is pace up and down the hall, up and down the hall, up and down the hall. When that person passes on, and it even doesn't have anything to do with their spirit, that energy of being right here all the time can remain.
Yeah,
that anxious
we need
energy.
that energy of Thundershirt. No, yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. It's yeah, that kind of stuff can be weird. Like if you walk into like a house where people have been fighting all the time, it never feels quite right. Like I don't know, like like somebody's parents get divorced, and then you go into the house and you're just like, oh, like
for sure. So Holly, if you have ever experienced something like that, like walking into a negative space, can you see anything unusual?
No. I just usually I don't know. I pick up on moods pretty well. Usually the negative ones, because unfortunately my upbringing wasn't the best. So I feel like I'm more attuned to picking up on I don't know if I think a lot of that's instinctual, honestly. I don't think a lot of that is necessarily because spiritual atheist here. So I always take everything with a grain of salt. So something like that, again, I think is more instinctual than it is necessarily like some sort of a spooky woo thing going on. But I do think spooky woo sometimes. It's like I walk a fine line. There's a fence there. So
right.
I'm pretty good on people's moods.
I think that's empathic. I really do.
Okay.
Sure.
Like that would be interesting to learn about. I don't know. I'm starting like this weird journey. So I feel like part of me is always going to be a little skeptical. But I love the spooky stuff. I love the stuff I can't prove. I'm kind of addicted to it. So
Me too. Me too. So we had, maybe you guys can vote yes or no on this one. Here's kind of a fun story from the hospital that I was in. So I live in kind of a small area, but we do have a big regional hospital, and it's six stories tall, if that makes sense. And they used to break it down into like the first floor was emergency, and then like a women's center, and then med surge, heart floor, stuff like that. And way up on that 6th floor used to be pediatrics, or the children's ward.
Okay.
And then some years went by, and the hospital redecorated itself and added on, and they moved stuff around. And they moved pediatrics down all the way to the second. No, it was on the 3rd floor. And I was also working on the 3rd floor in the separate unit that was for orthopedics. And it was really, really funny on the night shift, because I always work night shift too. And maybe people could call it like heat rising or updraft or whatnot. But you know how you get helium balloons, and about halfway through their life, they start to just kind of drift in the middle.
They get a little flaccid.
Yes. Yeah. And well, they just kind of float around and then hover, you know. That in itself is kind of creepy, but it never failed on that hospital floor that in the middle of the night, the balloons and the things that the children had in their ward would drift out into the main corridor area. And the hospital elevators, there were a bank of like 6 of them. They were always coming and going all night long with things, and the doors would slide open and people would come in on, you know, in and out, or they hit the wrong button, doesn't matter. But these balloons consistently, like every night, would come down and drift into the elevator. The elevator would end up on the 6th floor, and all these balloons would work their way out to the 6th floor every night, Holly. It was so creepy. And if I ever did go work on the 6th floor, which later they turned that into like a rehab center for people to get better and go home.
Yep.
You'd be working on there, you know, up there on the night shift, and the elevator doors would open and a balloon comes floating out, you know. Float down the hall. But it was weird because people always used to tell the stories and say, oh, the kids are bringing their balloons up because of all the children that passed away on the 6th floor in the past, you know, and stuff. And the 6th floor was just crazy. I don't know if I like the word haunted, but there was a lot of energy, a lot of spirit activity up there. And the old people constantly would ring their bell in the middle of the night and say, tell that kid to quit running up and down the hall.
Oh, yeah, that's... Oh, Lisa's leaving. Oh, bye, Lisa. Oh,
bye, Lisa.
Oh, I'm glad that she had a chance to catch. I'm glad we had a chance to catch her. So that's awesome. But yeah, no, that's some definite weirdness going on. I mean, if it's one thing for a balloon to get into an elevator once, but for it to be consistently happening, that's really weird.
It would happen a lot. And I think that a lot of people were like, oh, it's because it's the top floor and it has nowhere else to go. But, you know, I don't know. I like to think the children were stealing the balloons from the other floor and bringing them up.
Yeah, but like, where else is it going to go? It's not like it's floating up. It's floating it's like it's at half mast.
Right,
like,
exactly. Yeah, the limpy ones.
Like, it's not... Yeah, it's not going anywhere. Like, it's not. And like, how's it getting on the elevator? It's, you know, it's like it's not pushing its own elevator button. I could see it like maybe going in with someone, but again,
right. That happens.
Like, that's like a once or
scare
twice.
The crap out of them. A lot.
Yeah, that's twice. That's not like. And like, I don't know. I've had one of those weird balloons. The town gives out balloons for special like shop local days. So I've had some balloons kicking around at half mast for a while. And even like with the traffic in the store, like the people coming in and out and the dogs and the children and the ridiculousness, the balloons don't travel like that. They don't. Like, I've had recent helium balloon experience. And they don't. Not saying I'm an expert.
It was a lot of fun until like later on in years they decided that the hospital wasn't allowed to have latex balloons anymore. You could only have those big Mylar things.
Oh, that's right, because kids are
So,
allergic.
yeah. Yeah, that was kind of quite the change. But even those Mylar ones, I think they lose air faster. So they were even more prone to just kind of hovering around. And yeah,
Yeah,
nothing like that to scare you in the middle of the night.
they're heavier too, which is why they sink faster, because that metal foil is heavier than a latex balloon. Because
Sure.
like, you know, if you think about it, it's creative. No, I have not done any reading with the original dog tarot lately. I did one today, but the guy was kind of a dick in the store, so I didn't really just put it that way. I did not try. And then he was like, "That's not my dog," and I was like, "Okay." I wasn't trying, bro. Like, so that one coming from a mile away.
Nice.
So yeah, no, yeah, I think you're right. There's definitely some energy lingering there. I mean, if you think about it, it's the last place those kids were.
Yeah.
You know,
For
especially
sure.
if they had, like, they could have been dying, but they had like really good caretaking experiences. Like, the nurses are usually pretty good to kids. So, I mean,
It's a very difficult area to work. I used to love to work there because I love kids so much. And I was working there when I was raising my own kids. But I think that that's what almost made it harder, because you hated to see them suffer. And you hated to see the ones with the stupid parents. Honestly, the parents sometimes were really, really difficult to put up with, you know.
yep.
Especially when they'd come out, you know, and have a whole lot of attitude, and they were not so happy. Of course, it's never a fun experience being in the hospital, but yeah, trying to deal with people whose kids are sick because of, you know, not to be mean, but something that they did,
Yeah.
you know. Yeah, that was hard. That was really hard sometimes. So
Oh, I'm sorry. That's awful.
I'm glad to be out of there.
How would you shield yourself empathically in that kind of a situation? Like,
Like
you
against
gotta, yeah, like you've got an angry Dicole parent. Like, how do you not, like, especially in a professional setting, how would you shield yourself that way?
You know, I wasn't very good at it. One of the things that finally made me quit was these are creepy, spooky stories, and they're not very nice. And I'm sorry, but like one time in the middle of the night, I was working, and they call it code blue, you know, and you have to go running. And this particular one was in the emergency room, so I went running off down there, and it was a baby that the lady had brought the baby in, and the baby was not breathing. And so we started to work on this baby, and of course it turned into one of those obvious abuse situations, you know, where, and then the boyfriend showed up, and he was obviously drunk and stumbling around and stuff like that. And, you know, at the end of the day, we couldn't save the kid, and everybody in the room just wants to punch this mother out, you know. I mean, he was just going off about how the baby wouldn't stop crying, and he was trying to feed it Cheerios, and like, tiny baby that couldn't eat yet.
Yeah.
And he was stuffing Cheerios in it or something. I don't know. But
oh God.
Yeah, it was, I used to just leave and go into like the employee restroom and just cry.
Oh, you poor thing.
Yeah, and the nurses, you know, there were other nurses that were, I don't think they meant to be mean to me, but one of them actually turned around once and said, if you can't get tough about this stuff, you're never going to make it. If you can't harden up, you're never going to make it here. And I was like, I don't want to. I'm sorry. I'll go open a Hooters or something fun, you know, before I do this all the rest of my life, because this is awful. But yeah, some of that kind of stuff was not real great to deal with. But I have a lot of happy memories from working in the hospital too, and a lot of really cool experiences. So.
Oh, well, that's good.
Yeah.
And also horrible, that thing. Oh my God, I would have, like, seriously at that point, it's just like, oh, your child is passed on. There's something wrong with your ovaries. We need to take them.
Right.
Like,
Oh.
Like at that point, no, you don't. Oh my God.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, that would have been murder, straight up murder.
It's horrible to see abuse cases and things like that. It's just not, I don't know, my heart couldn't take it. So that's why I'm not there anymore, honestly.
Probably the right decision.
A lot of it. That's a lot of it.
Ivan wants to know, here's a happy one. Ivan wants to know, what is the strangest or most energetically active place you've ever done a reading at? And I'm going to pop you on screen because I have to stop my bird from eating my house. I can hear it from here. She's eating the window.
Okay.
So you go ahead and tell your story. I'll be right back in 2 seconds.
The strangest or most energetically active place I've ever done a reading at was probably, I'm going to say that this was last year. I was traveling and I was staying somewhere in Massachusetts that was probably not too far from Holly. Oh, she's
where in Massachusetts?
So the place that I was working actually was in Connecticut, and I always got in trouble because I read the name and I called it Methuen. Like Methuen, right? So yeah, I got in trouble. I had to come out there and work for a couple of weeks. That was just like last year. But
awesome.
One night I had the time and the opportunity. I just drove. The road went from my hotel just straight out to Salem. So I went to Salem and I just kind of messed around at the shops and saw some of the museums and stuff. And then I didn't get the opportunity to take one of those little tours where you get on the wagon or whatnot and it rides you through all this stuff.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know what you call that. I can't even remember. But I was just kind of sitting in a park area with the statues and the creepy tree things that are all I don't know if you've been to Salem recently or not, but yeah, I just kind of sat in that area and I did have my cards with me and I just kind of flipped through them a little bit and it was almost too creepy for me to try to. I was like, oh, I can't believe I'm doing this. And so I just flipped a couple 3-card Lenormand spreads and then called it good. I creeped myself out because it was getting dark. But if I'd been farther along in my journey than I am, I might have enjoyed it a little more.
Oh, nice. But yeah, that could be kind of, yeah, that's kind of a really creepy setting. Like, ooh.
It is. It's amazing though. It's a really cool place to visit, and there were not as many little witchy shops as I had imagined there were going to be, if that makes sense.
I've heard it's a little more commercial now. How long ago was that?
Just last, like 2016, early, like March maybe.
Oh, really? There weren't as many witchy shops as you had thought?
No, it was, and I think commercial is a good word for it. Like there was one shop in particular that was all Harry Potter stuff. And,
yeah.
And that's like, no, this is not what I'm looking for. So I'd go to the next store. And there were a couple of really cute ones. But a lot of them were closed as well. And the one lady that I talked to said that some of this stuff doesn't even open until around the end of September. Because they get a huge rush of people in October.
Oh, yeah. So you want to...
I think it's basically Halloween in Salem from October 1st till the end of the month.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, it's Halloween there year round, but yeah, they have their biggest rush. Summertime usually is very busy for Massachusetts. So I wouldn't be surprised, especially where they're so close, not like close to the shore, like they're close enough. You'll see a bunch of people splitting their vacations between the seashore and Salem. So in the summer.
Gotcha. That's cool.
Yep. And then it'll probably die down for a little bit, and then November and October they'll be open, and then I know Cape Cod is a ghost town from January all the way through April, sometimes till the end of May, like Memorial Day. Memorial Day weekend is usually somewhat busy, but Salem's probably a little busier, like August through the end of October.
Right. I'd love to come back there again someday. Now that I know more about what kind of things I would look for in shops and stuff like that, it would be probably a lot more fun. But
yeah, and then like to take some of the history tours and stuff. I think that's really where the magic of Salem is. And in Boston too, like is taking some of the historical tours and then like kind of figuring out where like the small out of the way shops are, and then like kind of avoiding like you need a local is what you need.
probably so.
I'm surprised that's not like a bigger business, honestly.
Nice.
So let's see. Do we have, let's see. Amethyst Samia says that shielding is very difficult for her. Let's see. Colleen says Salem is really interesting and she went this year for the first time, but it's not a very big town. They think they cater more to what comes with the witchy than the witchy. Okay, that makes a little bit of sense.
It does.
So like to the, the people looking for like dream catchers and pentacle necklaces and pewter dragon statues, like,
right,
probably.
Right.
And then like the Halloween shops.
Commercial.
That's really
I think commercial was the best word that you came up with for that.
Yeah, I feel like it's Charlie. Like it would be my Charlie Brown Christmas where I'd be like, "Arg, it's commercial!" Like when he gets mad at Snoopy. Veronica Rose is here.
Veronica.
Hi. She's got a great channel.
One of my favorites. I love Veronica.
Isn't she just so good?
I think that she was my very first commenter on my very first video ever, and I was like, "Ooh, a person."
Oh, good. I'm glad that she's here. I love her. Her videos, her and Simon from Two Spirit are some of my favorite videos to watch, and of course Lisa from Hero Alchemist.
Absolutely.
Ivan wants to know if you search for spiritual communication now that you aren't in the hospitals, or do you feel like you experience outright spirit communication in your daily life?
I do. That's a good question. So I think that a lifetime of having being able to receive spiritual messages and stuff, is what made my job more difficult than I anticipated, if that makes sense. Like I knew that was something that I've had kind of all my life, and didn't really think about the repercussions of working in an environment there is so much spiritual activity going on and stuff like that. So that was very difficult, and it did lead me to trying to find something like through Reiki in order to deal with that, not just mentally, but almost like being able physically to deal with it better, because it was very stressful to walk into a room and just get hit with these kind of extreme sensations of emotions, confusion. Confusion was the biggest one. I hated walking into a room and feeling very, very confused and panicked. Because that happened a lot, and so do I feel like I experience outright spirit communication in my daily life? Yes, still I do. More so when I'm open to it than, if I try to think about it. So it's not, I don't want to sound like I'm like Teresa Caputo or any of the things like that. Like being a medium is not something that I have actively sought out, although it is something that is a big enough influence that in the future, when I start and get my website up and going and everything, I do definitely, one of my first readings that I want to do for everyone is like a bereavement reading.
Okay.
To help people. I've always liked to help people, whether it was working in the hospital or working in the job that I have now, or working, I did some hospice work for a while. And there's so much that happens when people go through a loss in their life like that. It's very difficult. And sometimes people just need someone to listen to them. And I feel like I would be able to do that and then also use my empathic nature and tarot reading to be able to give them messages that will make them feel better. That's what I hope to do. So
yeah, I was just gonna ask, how do you integrate your tarot reading and your mediumship? Like, what are your what do you do now, and what are your plans for the future? So aside from bereavement readings, are there any other type of ways you like to combine tarot and bereavement?
I think that like the tarot bereavement reading is the biggest one, but I also am just starting to venture out and think about mediumship readings for people, because where being an empathic medium means that I'm constantly barraged by all these feelings, right? And you get these feelings of happiness, of joy, sometimes of anger. It's not always very clear, and why there's this angry feeling or this kind of a panic or anxiety feeling going on. I have found very much that tarot allows me to put words. Does that make sense? Like, these are just feelings, feelings. There are no words. But if I flip a card, I can, flip a card and say, oh, maybe there is, a meaning. Here's some words that I can give you from looking at this card. I love your
First of all, is that Mystical Cats? Because I just got that one.
This is, so this is one of my newest decks. I just picked this one up in Seattle. It's the Animal Totem Tarot.
Ooh, I love that one.
And I think he's a little Tasmanian devil, actually.
Yay, he's Dorbies.
I blame Veronica. It's Veronica's presence that pulled out the Tasmanian devil here. That's what it is.
Veronica, no, she's so cute and innocent. Why would she ever be a Tasmanian devil?
I don't know. I think that pink fiery hair, it's not quite red hair. It's like fiery, angry. It's like pink spirited. Yeah, I don't know.
It's feisty.
A little something feisty, yeah.
Oh, Ivan wants to know if you have a favorite deck, tarot or oracle that you use for your bereavement readings and or your spiritual readings.
A little bit. I started out, the first cards that I used to do bereavement readings were fairy cards.
Oh, nice.
And they were, they were just the Doreen Virtue cards. And now that I've had them and now that I've been introduced to a lot of other different kind of cards, I am wondering if those are the right choice. I think that they were a really good beginner's deck for me. Mm-hmm. But not so much for, say for example, if I read for a lady and I'm reading about her mother, her grandmother, her sister, or something like that, those kinds of cards are really nice because they're airy and they're light and they're very feminine.
Okay.
But I found that they did not. On the other hand, I did a couple of readings for some men, and maybe they wanted to know about their best friend that, or their brother or their father or something like that. And so in that case, the fairy cards did not so much. I had to switch to something like the traditional Rider-Waite, or find something a little bit different to use for them, because it just wasn't, the masculine energy wasn't speaking to me through the fairy cards for that. Although I have some guys that they don't care, whichever deck I prefer to use. So I'm also kind of on that. Oh boy. Yeah, I'm on a shopping spree. Let's call it what it is. It's a shopping spree.
Yay, shopping sprees. Those are my favorite.
I have
my goodness, 2 spirits on. Oh my god. I'm sorry, I'm fangirling right now. 2 spirits is joining the live chat. Can we even right now? I'm so excited. One of my favorite channels. Hi.
Okay, so maybe while we're here all together, I think maybe all of us need to get together and make this massive plea to Simon that he should be making meditation videos.
Yes. Oh my god, that would be amazing.
Wouldn't it?
I mean, like, not to say that his videos are boring, but they're super relaxing.
Yes.
So sometimes when I have trouble sleeping, I'll just put them on and out like a light. So some like, meditation for sleep or just general meditation, that would be amazing. Yes. Oh my god.
Yes. Simon, the people have spoken. You must make meditation videos.
That would be awesome. Oh my
it
God,
would be
that would
the
just make
best
my
thing
day.
ever. I would just die for that. I have a couple of different meditation videos that I do listen to at bedtime to help me to sleep. But yeah, I would absolutely drop them all if Simon had videos out into watch. He's got such a nice voice.
Oh my God, you could go through the roof and it would just be you and me.
Right.
Just put his videos on a loop all night long.
Yep.
Right now, oh my God, right now I'm listening to, because sometimes it's so hard to just shut your brain off and shut the feelings off from the day. So right now I'm listening to this one guy and he's just batshit crazy. Like when I tell you this man is like tinfoil hat territory, like
oh dear.
He's tinfoil hat territory.
Oh dear.
Yeah, so like I don't have to have my brain on because his is going overtime and it's just saying ridiculous things that I don't have to pay attention to. Oh my God, I'm all dusty now. Like so
but you have such a cute little friend. I love your birdie.
Oh my God. Don't you say she's cute. She just took a big chunk out of the framing on the window. Like don't even. She's not cute right now. She's only here because if I left her out there I'd murder her more. Like so mad. But anyway, all right. So tarot and mediumship, how exactly does that work for you, if you don't mind my asking? Like, do you sit down and do a reading, and as you do the reading, like stuff comes in, or does stuff come in?
It does. Yeah, it's been a little strange. Like one of the first things that I did was I decided, and this has been probably about a year ago, I had a really good friend that passed away. And she left her husband, a widower. And he is such a sweet man. Now, these people live in Arizona, and they're the Arizona, Sedona kind of people that are into all the witchy woo and the stuff like that, And my friend, she was very much into the alternative healing and the crystals and the stones and the herbs and the stuff like that. Oh God, I loved her so much. And at any rate, when I first started getting into these, tarot reading, and Lenormand was my first. That was my first kind of cards that I did. I just asked him one day, I was like, hey, do you want me to read you a story about your wife? And I did a 9-card Lenormand spread. And it was so crazily, like the messages that were coming through were obviously from her, and they were obvious. Like some of it didn't make any sense to me. I'm like, okay, horse, or anchor, this, that, and birds, it didn't make any sense to me at all what I was looking at. But I had the cards out for him, and he's like, oh my God, that's about our boat. And I'm like, okay. So she's talking about, your boat and stuff like that. So I mean, and that has happened quite frequently to me when I've done readings, bereavement readings for other people, is I'll slap the cards down and I look at them, and sometimes I sit here like this, and before I even say anything, the people are like, oh my gosh, this is, a good example of that. I don't think that it was, who was it? Maybe it was Jilly, and I did 2 cards, one to represent her and one to represent her mother. And one of them was like the Princess of Winter, which was her, because she was born in January. And the card to represent her mother came out to be like the Queen of Autumn or something, and she happened to have been born in the fall. So these things are happening, and it's very interesting. And I think that the biggest thing is that I'm able to lay out the spread or whatnot, and have a couple cards that mean things, like a card to represent the querent, or the person that has experienced the loss, and then a card that represents the person that has passed away. Those are my first 2 steps always. And then I always like have a third position where it is always about the relationship that the 2 of those people had together, or maybe something special or symbolic about that. And sometimes on top of that, I'll use an oracle card as well. Just kind of depends.
So when you do like the card to represent the person and the card to represent, do you pick significators for that beforehand, or do you let the deck just speak for itself, or the person just speak for themselves?
Just the deck. It's just the deck that I put down, and it's been very, very interesting. I did a short series where one of my older videos is a bereavement reading for my friend, the same one I was talking about, and then I offered like 5 readings to other people. Okay. And so I got contacted by email. Now I got my 5 contacts. I got all those people done, but the emails kept coming in and people asking me to do these for them. And so I got a lot of practice that way, but it was surprising to me. It was, I surprised myself a whole lot. So I think that's why that's going to be one of my first offerings when I get my live, my website going live and my readings available for people. That's what I want to do, is offer just that exact kind of reading.
Awesome. People who can do that kind of reading, you've got a real talent, and it's a real, like, good for you. Like, it's not everybody can do that. Not everybody has the stomach for it either. So good for you.
I think that working in hospice helped a lot too, because we learned a lot about, not just taking care of the patient when the patient passed away, but also how to take care of the family or the caregivers around them.
Yeah, that stuff is hard.
Big picture thing. I wanted to do it. Originally, I didn't think I wanted to, but I went through hospice of my own with my father. He passed away when I was 21.
Oh.
So he had been on hospice, and those hospice nurses were just amazing. And I wasn't sure that that's something that I wanted to do for the rest of my life, but I knew I wanted to pay it back. So I did a couple years of hospice after I graduated.
Yeah, hospice is a hard thing to go through, and to go through it that young with a parent, like, you've got to be tough as nails. Like, you must be, like, so incredibly, like, tough. Good for you. Like, that's, oh my goodness. I'm fangirling again.
Yay.
Aw. Oh, Ivan just gave you, like, the best compliment ever. He says he just wants to say he appreciates your heart and soul for doing these things, and tarot and the divination world need more people that do that specific type of reading. And I agree, but they need people that the people that do it with integrity, like you. I think that's a huge problem in this community. Not necessarily with the readers who take it for serious, but the scammy McScammertons out there.
For sure. Yeah, and I have been doing, and I'm going to continue that along those lines, like, until I reach my goal. Like, it's going to be at least a year, an entire year from the beginning of, when I started till the end, before I'm going to actually make a website and sell my readings, because I will know when I'm ready, right?
Yep.
To offer that, and I'm just not quite there yet. But I've gained a ton of experience by offering these readings from my YouTube page. Once in a while, saying, "Hey, I'm using people as I've got guinea pigs going on for real, people, and it's amazing to me how many people will allow me to do this for them, and it's people that have it's been people that come to watch my videos and see what I'm offering at the time. And these are people that have been reading tarot for years and years and years. And they want me to read for them. And that's been kind of scary, to be honest.
Oh my God, isn't it super intimidating? You're just like, I don't want to read for you. Move along.
It is, but it's been really good practice at the same time. And these are the people that are have also sent me back the best critique, about maybe you should do this differently, or maybe since this reading is of such a personal nature, maybe it shouldn't be recorded, it should be live, and things like that. And I would agree. So
yeah, the live readings are fun. I just started doing private. I did a private live reading the other day, and it's awesome. It's awesome. Had a little technical difficulties, but once you get that figured out. I don't know have you started doing them yet?
A little bit. Yeah, I've done a couple over Skype. And
Skype is awesome.
Good. Yeah, that worked out pretty good for me and for the person it was. And it was a lot more engaging because you're not just doing a video of you slapping the cards and talking about them. You actually can speak to each other while it's going on too. So, and see the other person's reaction.
Agreed. It makes the reading a little more fluid and a little more organic instead of you being like, well, I read these cards. I don't really know where to go from here, but okay. I'll fill 20 minutes in between with me soft shoeing. Like, so let's see. Okay, so does anybody else have any questions for Wayward? Oh my God, Mrs. Mitchell is here, and nobody here is here. Yay! All my favorite people are here right now, and I can't even handle it in one room. I'm like,
so nobody here. I hope nobody here doesn't mind me saying that she's one of my guinea pigs that I've read for in the past. So maybe she can say.
You read for her? Oh,
I did.
Oh my God, that would make me so nervous. That would make me so nervous. Oh my goodness.
I did. Yeah, that was terribly frightening because I thought, well, maybe I should learn more about Nobody Here before I read for them. And I went to the channel and I looked at the list of videos and it just went down and down and down like this. And I went, oh, snap. And then
she's got great videos.
I just did it. I just was like, forget it. I'm just going to do this. So I did the reading and yeah.
You made her cry. But I suppose that's good in a bereavement reading. Like you want people to feel something. You want to connect enough where they're maybe crying, but only a little, not a lot.
Right. It's really difficult. That's hard to do, but it's also it does mean you kind of did a good thing because sometimes that release is what needs to happen as well. I don't know if you've ever had a formal, they call it an emotional release session. Can be done by a Reiki practitioner, or sometimes there's just people that are like psychic kind of aura reading people and they can do like an emotional release for you. It's very therapeutic. It sucks, but it's very therapeutic. You feel so much better. Not necessarily that day, but like later you feel a lot better. So
I would love to do that someday, but I think it's going to have to wait until after I get rid of the shop because I am not unleashing that. I am holding it together and it's with a fine thread and oh my God. So I probably, at some point I'll go get like a Reiki release, like have an aura reader do something, but not right now. We're just going to bottle it up and stuff it down.
Nice.
Let's see. Are we missing anything?
Deshan's here.
Oh, Two Spirit wants to know where you plan on traveling to next, if you don't mind us asking.
Oh, sure. So I travel all over the country. Basically what I do for work is I log into the computer in the morning and I see where jobs are available for what I do. And basically what I do for my real life work is I go out into the world and I teach people how to use an iPad or an iPhone to use medical documentation, like working in people's health records and charts and stuff.
Oh, cool.
Because it has to be a very specialized software, and that's all really long and boring and stuff. And so I won't talk about that a lot, but basically they'll say, okay, you need to go teach this for a week in Boston, or you need to go teach for a week in Seattle or whatnot. So I get to choose where I'm going a little bit. Not this next week, but the week after, I will be in Baton Rouge, Louisiana.
Oh, that's so exciting.
Yeah, that sounds like I tend to kind of pick and choose some of the cool places to go that I've never been before, but also I'm guilty. I'm a little bit of guilty of picking some of these places near places like Sedona and and Salem and, you know, New Orleans and stuff like that, because I want to go these places. I want to see all this awesome stuff and meet these cool people. So yeah, I will be in Baton Rouge in a couple of weeks. I'll be there for a week, and then after that I think I will be in Colorado for a week in August, and then it's just kind of up in the air. I only tend to know where I'm going about a month in advance, and then it just kind of rolls like that. But Simon, happy day. I don't know what the deal is about this, but just this last couple weeks, I was asked to make sure I have my passport, because the software, the software that we teach is based actually in Canada. It is used, it's the biggest software in the United States. It's being used right now, and we have just expanded to Scotland and England and Ireland, and there's a very good chance I will be traveling to those places in the next couple of years as well. Yay!
If you meet Simon, you have to get his autograph for me.
Okay.
It's like really stupid, but like, I don't even care. Didn't even care.
Absolutely, absolutely. The crazy thing about Simon is, I guess he used to live down the road from me here in the United States, right?
Did he really?
Yeah, I think so.
He's been all over the place.
I know. That's Simon.
He's fascinating.
All over the place. All over the place.
Simon is fascinating, and we love you.
But never recording meditation videos. Jeez.
Oh, yeah, that's fine. Nope. Yeah, but you know what? Yeah, he cannot record those. It's fine. You know, if he doesn't want to, that's fine. We're not. He can do whatever he wants. I'm just saying.
Find somebody else to listen to.
Laying on the guilt stick.
Right. International travel for work is awesome. Oh,
are we slowing down? Tell us about the eclipse.
Oh,
that's coming up. I remember you wanted to talk about it a little bit.
So if you haven't heard about it, there is an eclipse that's coming in August. I think it's on August 21st. Now, there's a lot of videos out there. There's some really, really funny ones from these doomsday people that are like, oh my God, it's the end of the world. We're all going to die, you know, but basically there's a lot of creepy things that happen. It hasn't happened across the United States since 1776. So people are saying that this is going to be the beginning of a new revolution or whatnot. And they're saying that the symbolism of the sun, as it makes its path, it's actually going to start like up in Washington, Oregon. It goes all the way across the United States like this, and it's done in South Carolina somewhere. And they're saying that that line of trajectory divides the nation right in half, and it's going to be civil war and all this stuff, you know, like all this craziness. But there is a name for, right? There's a name for this thing that happens. It's called totality, right? Like, so if you've got your sun and the moon passes right in front and it's completely blocked out, so that's totality. And that is a path of land that's like 70 miles wide.
Okay.
And it goes all the way across the country like this. Well, I live right in the path of totality in the middle of nowhere. Which is crazy, but there are so many people that are interested in coming to watch and do and record and take pictures and videos, because there's a whole ton of people that want a beautiful picture of the sun and the moon and over the mountains, right?
Yeah.
So they're coming to this area. We have towns here, like our population is only like, if I am in town, living in town, it's like 9,000 people, close to a town of like 30,000 people. And if I'm out of town, like in our summer area, there's about 450 people that live there. So, right. So yeah, they're saying to expect 1 million people in this area where I live. And they're saying that the infrastructure is going to fail, and we're all supposed to stock up on water and food and flashlights and probably ammunition.
Oh my goodness.
stuff like that. But yeah, I did it just a silly video like on a reading, like about I did an eclipse reading. I don't think I've seen anybody do. Oh no, Veronica Rose did it. Of course she did. Just about, you know, what's going to happen during the eclipse and stuff. And I didn't get anything other than the opportunity. What did I get? I got like the lovers, which I thought maybe that meant that it was going to be the opportunity to make new friendships and for people to bond because we're going to have this time together and stuff like that. Yeah. I don't know. It'd be interesting to know if anybody else has heard any doomsday stories about what's going to happen, but I don't think so. I don't think anything like that's going to happen. If anything, it's just going to come and go, and that day's going to be really super cloudy, and we won't be able to see the sun and the moon anyway.
Oh my God. It would be the worst.
It would be.
That would be the worst.
It would be, but that'd be just, you know, just my luck. That'd be just my luck, and it would be very typical of this area too. So guess we'll see.
If that's the case, you have to hunker in, because we get that here. People like book, they spend $1,500 on a house for a week to like spend a week at the beach, and then it rains the whole goddamn week. Like, they are not happy customers.
Yes.
Like
yes.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, is Bubba's still there in Jackson? Yes, Two Spirit. Bubba's is still in Jackson, and they have another restaurant here in Idaho Falls, which is the next town over for me, and it's delicious.
You guys have a rib joint? That's not fair.
We do. In Idaho, of all the weird places. It's like very strange, but
Cape Cod used to have one, and it was like really sketchy, like really, like maybe you would get food poisoning, but that was the only one, and they're gone now.
But you
because I think a lot of people got
you have the amazing seafood though. Oh my gosh.
But like, the seafood is nice, but I'm a fisherman's daughter, so I used to eat that shit for free. Like, it's my comfort food. So it's nice. Like, oh, I'm feeling sad today. I would like a lobster. And then you go to see the price of lobster, and you're just like, fuck that. Like, you can't, like, I cannot bring myself to pay for it.
Nice. Love it.
Because I would get it for free. Swordfish is ridiculous. I actually managed to find it for $12 a pound the other day, but it was probably a fleeting moment. Everybody's here now. It's at $22 a pound. I'll guarantee it.
Two Spirit was in Idaho Falls. See, he was right here. He was right where I live, and I totally missed him. That's so not fair.
Simon, that's not fair.
Simon.
So, speaking of Northern Lights, we're getting those tonight. If you live in like the top half of the United States of America, there's a good chance you can see some Northern Lights tonight.
Really?
The National Weather Service, the National Weather Service has a whole map of it. So people who live in the Northern Hemisphere along the same like if you're you know, on the same band where New England is, you'll be able to see the Northern Lights tonight. So check the National Weather Service and figure out whether or not you're in that band. But there was a coronal mass ejection or whatever they call those, and
we're having an electrical. Cool. That sounds kind of dirty,
doesn't it? Like, get out of here with that, son. Like, you know. Aw, Mrs. Mitchell, you'll be able to see some stuff. Don't worry about it. You'll be fine. All right. Let's see. Does anybody else have any questions for Wayward? Because if we're not going to do more questions, I think we might start doing a couple of readings if she doesn't mind. Do you mind?
I do not mind at all. I would be more than happy to give it a shot.
All right, wonderful. So we're gonna switch gears and start doing readings and just doing like rando chit chats. Oh, I do have one last question. What is this? Oh, are you okay?
I'm good.
Okay. What is the spookiest thing that has ever happened to you? Like the spookiest.
I think I'm still waiting for that to happen. I don't think any encounter or any feelings have ever been very scary. I've never been frightened by them, if that makes sense. I've only sometimes if I have a feelings of there's someone that's very angry, or there's a spirit that's very frustrated or anxious or something like that. It doesn't make me frightened. It just makes me feel sad for them, or I feel compassion for them. You know what I mean? Like I haven't had that yet. I did have an experience like as a very young child. I was only 4 or 5 years old, I guess, when I was one of the first things happened to me, and that was actually in the state of Atlanta, or in the state of Atlanta. Oh hell, my gosh. Okay, so how about the state of Georgia? I was there visiting my family who lives in Atlanta, and at the time, my grandfolks lived in this very heavily wooded area, and they lived on the property where there used to be a plantation where my great-great-grandfather used to have a big house and fields, and his old moonshine equipment and copper pots and stuff were still back in the trees.
Ooh.
So it was actually really cool. But my grandpa was, he was at the time, he was kind of really protective of the property and stuff. And they used to try to keep people away from the old original buildings and stuff like that. And I remember, I have very vivid memories of this, and then very vivid memories of how much I got in trouble. But it was, I used to go out into the kind of backyard area at my grandfolks' house, and then I would sneak out this chain link fence and back into the more heavily wooded area where I wasn't supposed to go because I thought it was awesome. And there was a little girl that would run through the trees with me. You know, it's like as we were out there playing, it was almost like playing hide and seek and stuff, and I never touched her, but I got to play with her all the time, and I thought it was amazing. And she was a little African American girl, looked about my age, and when I got in trouble for being gone so long, my parents are like, "What are you doing out there?" And I was like, "I was just playing with my friend," you know. And then my grandfolks got super upset, and they're like, "Who's out there? There's not another kid out there. What's this and this?" And I told them about what she looked like, and the only thing I knew, because I didn't know words for stuff, was I said she looked like the little girls on that TV show, Little House on the Prairie.
Okay.
And I told them that it's like she had the bloomers on and a bonnet and stuff like that, and that she was really fun to play with and stuff like that. So I don't know, maybe that's one of the only times that I really saw something, but I truly believe
I love it. They squash us kids right into the ground when it comes to that stuff. It's like, that's not a thing that happened, and you're just like, you know what? It was.
Yeah.
Like, it shuts down. I feel like that probably shuts down so many people where that stuff's concerned.
I think it does too.
It's like, that's horrible. Like, stop closing our minds to that. It should be more open. It
would be interesting to see what would happen with a child like that started having those things show at a very young age, and people nurture it instead of squelch it up, you know?
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's probably one of two things. They probably either wind up like super duper cray cray, or they wind up very talented and compassionate. But you know, you've got that whole thing with like the indigo kids and stuff. Like, so I don't know. Like, I've got mixed feelings on it. Either like they either wind up really horrible or really amazing people. Like, there's no in between.
Oh wow.
Yeah, Mrs. Mitchell says it shuts down a lot of intuition in kids when we tell them it's not true. Yeah, it probably does. And I think it shuts down a certain sense of adventure. You know, like, don't discourage kids from running around the woods with spooky ghost girls. Like, no, we should all be allowed to do that.
I think so too.
All right.
Bye, Simon. Simon's leaving us.
Oh, Simon is leaving us. sad. He went 9 nights, which sounds amazing.
Kind of does.
I know, like taking a nap, midday nap.
I'm ready to read.
I'm ready to read too. Go ahead.
I was just wondering if anybody that's watching in chat, if there's anybody that would like me to try to do a reading for them regarding a person who's passed.
I would love to see that in action. 10 a.m. Monday where nobody here is.
Oh, no. Oh. Oh, dang.
Oh, going to work, that's the worst.
I don't want to think about it being Monday already. That's not,
No.
I always say I like that. I always say tomorrow's going to be okay because I know my friends in New Zealand and Australia are already there. But on Sunday night going into Monday morning, that doesn't sound like a very good option.
No, that does not sound like a very good option at all.
No.
I think this might be a bot. I have to get rid of it.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a bot. So I'm gonna get rid of chat ad.
Uh-oh.
Oh, chat ad.
Veronica wants a reading about her dad. Okay, I'm doing this. I'm doing it.
Do it. Do it up.
Dun, dun, dun. I'm sorry, I had to lean down and get my cards. I hope you didn't think I fell off my chair because it probably looked like I did, but I promise I was just leaning. I have a whole basket full of cards next to me here, which is a bad deal because that means I'm starting to get so many that they can't all sit on my desk where I wanted them to. So
they're migrating. They're like mogwais. You got them wet and you fed them after midnight.
Right. And I blame you guys mostly because I'm watching everybody else's videos and I'm like, ooh, I need those and those and those and those and those. And thanks a lot, Simon, because you reviewed another one that I have to have. So.
Oh, specifically, Nobody Here's channel. I love her decks.
Oh, yeah. For sure. What's the one that I saw the other day that somebody had on there? The Gilded. It's a Lenormand deck. Gilded Rose Lenormand or something like that. They had a review. Maybe it was Jilly. Okay, Veronica Rose, I've drawn, I did 3 cards and I used my old Fairy Tarot deck that looks like this. Because this is just one of the first ones that I started working with for these bereavement readings. But what I do is I pull 3 cards. I pull one for you and one for your father, and then a card that represents something about the relationship that you two shared together. So, very cool. So the one that I got for Veronica Rose actually came up as the 7 of Spring, which is very cool. I love these so much. So this is like this fairy gale, and I don't know that you guys can see the pictures very much, but the 7 of Spring, that's going to be, so this, in this deck, it's really weird, but the 7 of, okay, so if you're not familiar with this deck, summer is cups, right? And autumn is pentacles, and winter is swords, and spring is wands, if that makes sense. So this would be like the 7 of Wands card that I got for Veronica Rose. And I think that's one that she likes a lot. But it talks about being assertive and believing in yourself and standing up for yourself. And so maybe even particularly in this reading, I could see that maybe a message that your father would have for you, or that did have for you throughout your life, is that you should stand up for yourself and not to let the other kids pick on you, or maybe maybe just was the kind of person that was always trying to build you up and make you feel like a better person, and to encourage you to assert yourself in the world and do things, maybe even when you didn't want to do them. And then the card that I got for your father, the one that came up is the King of Summer. So Summer is like the King of Cups, which tells me that he was a very warm-hearted, very generous, very loving kind of a father, and that he was very mature and kind of a warmer soul. Not so much of the kind of dad maybe that is very strict and stern and this and that, but that he was very warm with you and very generous of his time and emotions. And so I think that that shows a very strong emotional relationship between you two, maybe more so than someone else that you would have in your family. Maybe you had a closer bond to your dad than you did with other members of your family. And then the card that came up for the to signify the relationship, or maybe a special message for you about this, is release, which I don't very often get this one, but it does say, you know, it's about letting go of the past and making new opportunities, and that it's time to move on. And to be honest, this is how bad my brain is. If it's the major arcana and the number 13, what is that one, Holly?
Death.
That one is the death card.
Mm-hmm.
And I like that it's called release instead of death, because it does, you know, death is a scary card to get when you're doing bereavement readings. For sure, right? Like, you wouldn't want to think about that, and you wouldn't want to say that. And I'm kind of grateful that this deck has those, some of those scarier cards are called something else that is not so scary sounding or so morbid sounding. But as you know, as it comes up in this case as release, I think that that message here is just that it was some kind of a release, that he was able to leave. And this one comes up a whole lot when there's an end to a suffering, or something that was very wrong, or a sickness, or something that plagued this person for quite a while, that there was a release, and that they were able to, and to think of that parting as more of a release and a joyful thing than it was frightening or sad or being angry. And certainly, like, letting go of the past is always a hard and a difficult thing for us to do, for a lot of reasons, not just when we're, you know, grieving, but anytime we have something like that, time to move on, it's not always an easy thing to do. But I think that you guys had a pretty awesome relationship, pretty cool bond. Ta-da!
Oh, that sounded like a lovely reading. So
thank you, Veronica Rose.
All right, Chad is definitely, we're gonna block him. Yeah, we blocked Chad. Chad was being kind of that wasn't gonna go anywhere good. That wasn't gonna go anywhere good. Like, so.
Probably not. I didn't see it all, but I probably don't want to. That's okay.
No, I mean, it was just like, oh, yeah, he was probably, like, at best he was a skeptic, and at worst it was going to go, like, down south into troll world. So we just blocked him.
Yeah, that's probably better.
Yeah. That Chad was not rad. Very good, Colleen. Agree.
Love to get rid of the trolls. That's always a good thing.
Yeah, I like to give people a fair shot, but if they're gonna act like that, then absolutely not. Especially during a bereavement reading, that is, like, way not cool. But it looks like Veronica Rose said thank you, and oh my goodness, I hope it resonated for her.
I hope so too.
Does anybody else want a bereavement reading? And if they're not up for a bereavement reading, I can always do a regular reading. or Wayward could do a regular reading if she wants.
I'm surprised that people have that much time too. Mrs. Mitchell says, I'm surprised.
Oh.
Yeah. I think that there actually are groups of people that just, that is their purpose in life. Like they even have their own forums and stuff, and that's their purpose in life, is to find channels and groups of people to pick on. And they'll like post links to videos and stuff. Look at this, you know, look at this person. Let's go make fun of them or whatnot, because it happens a lot.
I mean, like that's
a lot of like gaming.
In the gaming community.
It does.
Yeah. Yeah, and like 4chan, they have their own like boards on 4chan and stuff. And I mean, I may or may not be guilty of a little bit of trolling, but I was a teenager when the internet was a thing. So,
nice.
But yeah, it's usually like something's going on up here, which is then they gotta. I used to call it getting out my meanies, because you can't be mean to the people in your real life.
Oh.
Veronica Rose.
I was just reading Veronica's comment. That's so nice. Thank you.
Aw.
I think you should do some readings, Holly. Do some readings for us. I've taken up so much of your nice time.
No, I mean, thank you for coming on my channel. I mean, honestly, I'm running out of stuff to talk about. Get people on. It's all like, look over here. Oh yeah, calling a keyboard. Are you what?
Go, Colleen.
Dragons. I'm super jelly.
That sounds amazing.
So, oh, that sounds so good. I never knew Dungeons and Dragons was the thing until I was like too old to like put more stuff in my brain. As far as the rules were concerned. Oh, that's too bad. Dungeons and Dragons sounds so much fun. Oh, sounds like so much fun. Yeah, so sure, I'll do a reading. Does anybody need? My cards are getting shuffled as we speak.
I love your cards. You have so many cool cards.
Oh, God. Right now I'm super in love with, and I didn't think I would like it, but I'm super in love with Pagan Otherworlds. Oh, that's a good question, Ivan, actually. So Ivan wants to know what deck has influenced your divination journey the most.
That's hard. I'm gonna have to just go say Rider-Waite. I gotta say the Rider-Waite Smith deck, just because it was so here's the thing, is the one that I started originally learning to read with was that Fairy Tarot, and it was so dang hard, and for a long time I was not getting it. I was just not getting it, because the whole winter, spring, and summer and fall instead of the usual suits was really messing with me. I didn't even know how to look up, you know, what was the 6 of spring, because I didn't know springs were wands, and I didn't know that wands all meant the same thing. So it wasn't really until I started to learn and study the original Rider-Waite Smith deck that I began to started to click, you know. Does that make sense? Like it started to give me concrete words and thoughts and ideas that go with each card that I could then translate to other Rider-Waite Smith-esque decks.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I think a lot of people have that experience. We find a deck where the artwork speaks to us. Like, we love the artwork, but we don't understand the system.
For sure. And I wished I had started, I wished I'd started with an original deck instead of something super artsy-fartsy, because that would have gotten rid of a lot of confusion that I had in the beginning.
But that artwork is so stinky. Like, it's no work. Oh, and Veronica, to answer Veronica's question, I am recording. I call it my art studio. It's the spare bedroom in my house, and I used to make I would love to get back into it. I just haven't been able to do it because work has just been so crazy pants. I make fursuit heads for people that just want to be huskies all the time, or people, you know, they want a realistic looking animal mask. So all my chemicals and sculpting material and costuming stilts and ridiculousness is here. And in my dormancy, it's also become the catch-all for my house, which I kind of hate. Like, so every time like there's a clutter on the kitchen table, it seems to find its way in here. So that's why it's a complete and total mess in here. And the bird pooped on the floor, so she is she's such a pain in the ass. So the bird is back out in the kitchen. She's gonna make her way to the oven if she don't watch it. Let's see. So, okay. Oh, what about for costume shops and stuff? No, my heads are like super custom. I start from sculpt to casting and then like everything. And they cost, like, I think the cheapest head I've ever done is $600. So nobody in a costume shop is gonna pay that for that. They want like a cheapy rubber pug mask for one of, like, these people wear this stuff all the time. It's really durable. And a lot of the time they want custom characters that you just can't get in a costume shop. So
when are you going to be on Face Off? That's all I want to know.
I am not going to be on Face Off anytime soon. I am not that talented. I don't think we'll be answering Steven's question because that is clearly a political question. We are not a political channel, so we're going to do this. Hooray.
Bye-bye.
I think the trolls found their way. Yeah, that was clearly a troll. Not that that's not a question that doesn't warrant discussion, but just not here right now. Like, we're not doing that. How about we do a reading for the trolls?
Oh, that's so sweet. Yes.
I'm doing a reading for the trolls. Like, what is wrong in your life right now that makes you want to come onto this sweet little channel where we're all having a good time? All right, let's see. Let's find out what is wrong with you. What is wrong with you people? All right. Slapping some down. What is wrong with you people? Okay, this is interesting. Oh my God. Yes, wait till you see this. Wait till you see this. All right, so they
can't wait.
The 7 of Swords. And then they got the Hermit. And then they got the 5 of Wands. So clearly, they love arguing and pretending they're coming at you from a moral high ground. They just think they're so much better than you, but really, they're fucking alone. They're alone and lonely and sad. And all by themselves.
Some 40-year-old guy living in his parents' basement.
Like, I know, right? And clearly it's much easier to fight with what they consider to be easy targets, but cards fight back, yo. Like, cards fight back. I love it.
That was awesome.
I love it. That was a sassy little spread there. A little pagan of the world dropping some truth. I don't know, but that's an interest actually. If we're gonna like really break that down for reals, like the seven of Swords. Oh no, the 7 of Swords. That's not. I'm sorry. I was reading 7 of Wands. 7 of Swords is even better. That's somebody who thinks they're getting away with something and being sneaky and a jerk.
Right.
Yeah. So. I mean, 7 of Swords, like there's, you know, they think they're really accomplishing something awesome and sneaky, but really, like, what are they getting away with? What do they think that they're doing? Like, because those other people, like in the traditional Rider-Waite, those other people, like, are totally seeing them getting away with it. Like, it's not even like, what is going on in your life that you need to steal those swords? And then the Hermit, like, that is like totally they need to take an introspective journey and figure out like why they're being mean to other people. Like, like that is like they need to, and they feel alone. They have feelings of loneliness, and they have to take it out on other people, and they feel like they have to be combative to like make their life complete, and that is really, really depressing for them. So sorry, trolls.
I love that.
Now
That's the best thing ever.
Bye, Jay. Oh, reported, Jay. Sad for you. Okay, pull a card. Creative Coffee wants a card pulled for how she can get work, he or she can get work done tomorrow. Creative, I still don't know. Like, I'm sorry if I misgendered you just then. So Wayward, do you want to do this one?
I got it. I'm on this. I'm actually going to draw 3. I'm going to do a 3-card Lenormand. This is what I'm doing on Friday mornings. It's just the sets of 3.
Yay.
So, because I think that's different. I think there's not a lot of people that do the live Lenormand readings right now. And I want to have some content that's just a little bit different. So that, and I love Lenormand. So sorry about it.
Lenormand is so good.
It's so much fun. It really, really is. It just reminds me of my grandma and all the fun times I used to sit around the table with her, and we would play like Go Fish and poker and all this stuff, and then she would read my cards. I remember being just really, really little.
Aw.
She would always read my cards. And I never knew that there was a name for it, you know?
That's super cool that you had somebody in your family that encouraged this for you.
Absolutely. She was amazing. She also encouraged me to drink coffee and smoke cigarettes, though, so my parents weren't too proud. Not too proud of that part of it, but okay. Creative Coffee, I'm going to do Lenormand, so I'm going to go 1, 2, 3. And we're going to talk about how can you get some work done tomorrow. The first one I got was the Tower card, which is one that I use usually as my significator if I'm doing readings about work, right? You use the Tower as the centerpiece or whatnot because it does have a lot to do with your efforts and building something up and creating something from the ground up. And the second one I got was a Crossroads. And the Crossroads indicates to me that maybe there's a little bit of a decision that you have to make. Should I work on this project or the other? So the last one that I got is a child. And the child always signifies something that is new or wondering or innocent or childlike or something like that. And so in this situation, I would think that the way to build up your work or to get a whole lot done is to make the decision of what you're going to work on. And I think that maybe even this would signify that it is the newer of the projects that you have to choose from. Choose the one that's younger, brand new, something like that.
That's interesting because I did a reading for Creative Coffee a little while ago on something similar, and they got the 6 of Cups. And if memory serves, they also got something about, they got the 8 of Cups too. So about like moving on and something about childhood. Like that's very interesting.
Cool.
Creative Coffee, you know what it is you've got to do. You know what it is. Like the cards are just kind of like, they know. You know. We make Creative Coffee. You know.
Jay wants to know if I can twerk, which actually the answer to that is yes, but there's not anyone here that needs to see that ever in their whole life, ever. That would be no. No, thank you.
Oh, did somebody ask if you could twerk again?
Yes.
Oh, they already asked that. I reported it.
Nice.
Maybe I didn't delete it. Yeah, that's boo that they found their way here.
Right?
Anybody else have any questions? Want a reading? Need a card reading? But yeah, Ivan, Ivan just made a troll spread. I love it.
Oh.
Why are they here? What's their effing problem? Oh, we'll be reporting you. Oh, sad. Bye. What entertainment do they need in their parents' basement? Oh, that's so sad.
Oh, it is.
Okay. If this is going to be a barrage, I think we might have to end this soon, which is sad because I think we're letting the terrorists win here. Okay, so if nobody else wants a reading, I am going to wrap it up. We can wrap it up with a final card for the afternoon, for the evening. Wayward, you're the guest, so if you'd like, you can go first, and if you don't feel like it, I can totally do it. Whatever.
I don't. Ooh, I do. Here, I'm falling out of the chair again. Okay.
Okay.
I do. I have really, really cool oracle cards. I picked up the Divine Circus.
Ooh.
They're so pretty. So, yeah, I don't know. Maybe an oracle card from that. What do you think?
Yes.
Okay. Might have to cheat and use my book just a little bit because I haven't read like all of them a whole lot all of the time yet. And they're so huge. These cards are big. But I love them. And circuses are creepy, right? Like, how many people think that circuses are creepy instead of fun?
I think they're creepy and sad. Like, you know, those animals aren't treated well.
Right.
And the clowns are creepy. Like, they've never made me feel happy. They've always made me feel depressed. I don't know. Elephants just aren't meant to stand on tiny little upside down buckets. It's really sad.
It's true. It's true.
And then Cirque du Soleil, those people are too bendy. Like, I don't know what's going on there, but like, if they could stop, like that would be amazing. Like, just stop it.
Okay. So for all of us in general, I got the card that is called the Red Countess. Tell me if you can see.
Yep, we can see.
She's so pretty. She's so pretty. I know there's a lot of glare. How's that?
Much better.
Way cool. Redheaded lady. So if I'm right, it reminds me of somebody that's really she's got these little birds that are flying around her, so it's kind of like they're whispering little messages, kind of like the birds in Lenormand. They're talking, you know, and they're like chit chit chit, which is actually really cool because the subject of us was like spirits and spirits talking to us and having spirits around us. And it has a lot to do with just being able to listen to these voices that are around us when we need to, that they're always here, but then we have to be open and receptive to that. And I'm trying to find my page, and the page about I had to cheat. So it talks about deep within yourself, you know what is true and what to do or not to do when there's so much noise and direction or distraction in the world, like our little trolls. That listening to our inner wisdom can seem like a bird song. You're hearing an inner truth, and deep down you know that you are, and you can trust in the things that you hear from around you. So that's way cool for today and our topic and stuff that we talked about. So that makes me happy.
I agree. Oh, that's such a good card. I love that card for today.
I do too.
All right. And then because we've got the eclipse coming, I'm pulling out my compendium of constellations. I'm feeling very astrological today.
Excellent.
All right, let me do this because I had it switched on so that way it wouldn't go back and forth while I was shuffling. Wow. Okay, that one jumped right out. So, okay. And we'll pull a couple more because these are one-word messages. And the thing that I love hate about them is like some of these constellations, I have no idea what they are. Like no idea. So now I got to look up all these constellations. So to add to your message, I would love to do like a big group reading sometime where it's like just combined messages. Like we each pull a card to do a message. I feel like that would be really neat if we got like 5 or 6 people on.
That would
to
be
do
awesome.
Like a combined. I have yet to see that done, so I feel like that would be kind of really cool. All right, so we got austerity. I don't know if you guys can see that. Oh no. So focusing is not a strength of this camera, you guys. So we got austerity, it's Cephas, and then we got power and guide and divinity. So, well, the crux is divinity. And then Pixis is the guide, and then Vila is power. I don't know. So what am I picking up from this? I think austerity. Austerity. Like I'm checking my mental vocabulary banks, and that word's not coming to me. Do you like? You know who would know? Ivan, because he's such a writing nerd. Oh, that's my alarm. We're going to go see Spider-Man tonight. I know. I'm really excited. Off the top of my head, I can't. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna Google it, but definitely between power and guide and divinity. I think it's just listening to, like you said, listening to the spirits and letting our sense of whatever it is that drives us kind of guide us in that kind of direction. And then define austerity. I can't believe I have to do this right now. Usually I'm a human dictionary. But yeah, but I feel like what crux is divinity too. It's also like it's like a center. It's a coming together of things. Oh, strictness. Austerity measures. Derp. There it was on the tip of my brain. Thank you, Ivan. So I think it's like a cracking. Like, if you really want to take this stuff seriously, like I think it is. It's like a cracking down and like. Maybe setting aside, in addition to your message, where like, yeah, there's spirits all around us and we need to listen to them, maybe cracking down and setting times, like set times where you practice.
I think that's great.
Yeah, a little bit of self-discipline where this is concerned. If you really want to come into your power, where, oh my God, tarot reader problems. I cannot wait for tarot reader problems. You're joining us for that, Wayward. You're joining us for that. But yeah, if you really want to come into your power where mediumship and tarot reading are concerned, and you really want to reach that point where, you've got like a good balance of practical knowledge and spiritual practice, it requires some self-discipline and some practice. So thank you, Ivan, for that word rescue. But yeah, that's kind of what I got.
What is tarot reader problems?
Oh, we're going to do a live chat where all we do is bitch. About tarot reader problems.
I can do that.
We can't wait. Yes, it'll be super fun. Like, oh, Lisa's back. Hi, Lisa. We're just about to close down because I have to go see Spider-Man. # first world problems. But yeah, no, you're joining us for that. So people who are still on, we'll be doing a chat called Tarot Reader Problems, which is kind of Ivan's brainchild. So I have to team up with him to figure out what time works best for him. But maybe next Sunday, because I do have that class coming up, which will be interesting. It's actually psychic development, and they talk a little bit about mediumship there. So
I can't wait to hear about it. Yeah.
It'll be
exciting. Share all the things.
I will share all the things. The teacher's a little, she's interesting. Let's just put it that way. But she's nice and she's very informative. So, Am I doing Thursday morning chats? I might add Thursday morning chats onto that too. Creative Coffee wants to know if I'm going to do a breakfast club. So I might be adding morning chats on instead of Thursday evenings. I'll do a little bit Thursday morning, but I think Sundays might be the new thing for a while because I have those now. So, all right, Wayward, anything you want to leave these people with?
No, I just wanted to say thank you to everybody, and I could not have been wouldn't have been able to practice without the people that have stopped by my channel and helped me along my way on this journey. And I hope to just keep it, just keep it on going. And I wouldn't have the knowledge or the desire to do it without you guys. So thank you.
Aw. All right, everyone. With that, we are signing off. Thank you, Creative, Ivan, Veronica Rose, Lisa from Tarot Alchemist, and Mrs. Mitchell, and everybody else who joined us today. Simon from Two Spirit, of course. And just basically everybody who joined us today that wasn't a troll. Thank you for joining us on this chat. And you know what? Thank the trolls too, because now we have an amazing spread. Ivan, you need to document that shit because we need it written down.
Put it on Instagram. Stat.
Yeah, immediately. All right, you guys, have a good one.